real standout. Even aggro druid, I think, has been pretty good. And then we're even getting a little glimpse at some of the real bottom feeders of this metagame that really don't get a chance to shine at all in other ways. Like we're seeing a lick of Shadow Priest, Control Priest. Who knows? Maybe Control Priest will be back anyway, with Renew going back up to 1 mana, or back down to 1 mana, sorry, and Quest Rogue taking a hit before the next Masters Tour anyway. But it is cool to see for a one-off event, this very different metagame from what we usually see in the 4-deck formats. But either way, to kick things off, it's two of the, as we were saying, mid-tier decks that have been performing reasonably well so far in Aggro Druid and Pirate Warrior, but consistently here for Gabby. Like, ignoring how well he's been playing, he's just been drawing like an absolute beast on this Warrior. I struggle to think of more than like one game where he hasn't just got a beautiful Pirate curve.
Yeah, but that's the reward you get for being incredible at Hearthstone. And his eyes widen as the weapon gets picked up off the top, going to be able to get the quest online too and continue to into that curve while also being able to take down this this peasant. So this is looking quite good to open things up.
It is, yeah. Nayara can keep up, most certainly in these early turns, but, you know, this kind of hand, it's not doing anything broken. This is living up to the meme or the negative perception that Aggro Druid gets, which is just that it's a fancy arena deck. Most of the time that proves to not be true, because you can go super wide, pull off some combos with the composting or the arbor up, and of course the summoning a bunch of taunts all at the same time. But here, when you're just playing 2-drop into 2-drop into 2-2-drops, it's not going to keep up with the likes of Pirate Warrior. It's just more efficient than this.
Yeah. You really have to, you know, get off to those crazy starts, or, you know, get the combo rolling in that mid game after not falling too far behind in the early game. So, what are you doing about?
Well, if you ask me, if you want to break the monotony of this curve for Nayara, that's the way to do it. It's time to take a risk, in my opinion. As it currently stands, Gabby would have to have a pretty bad hand, a pretty unlikely hand, to not be pulling ahead in the next couple turns. And so just going 2 into 2 into 2, hoping to somehow get there by summoning a minion on the same turn as you play the Oracle, it's just too slow. I think you have to play it on this turn, pray that it survives, and then play 4 2-drops next turn with the copying effect.
Well, it looks like she is going to take it a little bit slower. But I like where your head's at. I think like taking a risk at this stage is quite important with how good Gabby's early start seems to be. Picks up the Cannoneer, but it looks like Gabby's just going to go Storm and Freebooter here. Just be able to keep the board nice and clean, get a higher stated minion up to be able to fight alongside. Oh, okay. Well, Battle Guard picked up, so now we have Oracle and Battle Guard in hand. The problem is there's none of those huge Battle Guard payoff cards currently for Nayara. And by the way things are going, how good Gabby's curve seems to be, and will very likely continue to be, she may just have to play them next turn with the Pack Mule, and maybe hope that that'll survive, and then roll from there, try and pick up one of those big top minions.
And so if you're going for that game plan, wow, I was going to say, do you go for that and then pray that they stick around so that you can composting afterwards? Or do you go for one minion? Like, do you just go neophyte composting here? In the end, Nayara is just going all in right now, not even trying to save the combo for a potential top deck. And the result is, I'd have to imagine, not going to work out well for her. As long as Gabby doesn't get super unlucky on these cannons, he should be in a very good spot, as he's psyching himself up saying, all right, Cannoneer, now is the time. Don't do me dirty now. Rage Against the Machine blasting in his ears, psyching him up. Come on, please.
Look at his eyes.
Whoa. Oh my God. Those are some Gabby cannons, and all of a sudden Nayara is so far behind.
It's just like you look at his eyes, and it's just the fear of the thousands of enemies in Hearthstone that he's defeated up until this point. Their souls start to escape, and then you know what's gonna happen.
That's how Gabby keeps his youth. He's actually 75 years old, but he's just hoarded the youth and the souls of his defeated enemies.
Yeah. Before Hearthstone, it was backgammon.
Yeah, if you look back to the earliest known board game boards, like Mancala boards from ancient Mesopotamia, you can see a young Gabby dominating them all.
Well, it's a 3-minion composting here for Nayara, but again, regardless of what those 3 draws are, it just doesn't feel like she's going to be able to stand a chance throughout the rest of this, what will be a very short game, I would say.
I mean, this one is just 99.9% over now. We're just going to slowly watch it wrap up in favor of Gabby. But I want to go back again to that key decision on turn 3 for Nayara, because specifically, if we look at the answers available to Gabby, because the board state would have been just a 2/4 Oracle on board and a weapon and 3 mana available to Gabby. The answers are pretty much exclusively an extremely lucky Defias Cannoneer to hit a 25%, or a Shiver Their Timbers plus a Pirate. Like, Shiver Their Timbers is the real only answer that I can think of for that board state for Gabby. Because even Stormwind Freebooter would have been 1 attack short of clearing it off. Sword Eater, because it overwrites the weapon, even if that could have come down, I think would have been a little bit short. And so for Nayara, again, I appreciate what she was going for, of just praying for a better top deck to go with her Oracle of the Loon. But she got that good top deck the turn after, and it still wasn't good enough. And so I think just taking a slightly bigger risk, in my opinion, with Tempo Oracle was the risky mindset that she needed to take in what was an unfavorable position.
Now, America's down 0-1. Not the end of the world, because Quest Shaman's still available. And again, that's been the deciding factor in a lot of these series, right? How many wins you can get with that Quest Shaman. We watched the 2 best-of-5s yesterday in Constructed, at least the first portion, and every single time Quest Shaman appeared, it won.
That's right.
It was Quest Shaman was 5-0 in the series, and the only other win was because there wasn't a Quest Shaman in that game. It was like Hunter versus something. So, but in many of the other best of 5s that we've seen constructed up until this point, we've seen things go back and forth, right? It's not like the end-all, be-all of decks. It can lose, though it does seem difficult.
Yeah, I think the play has been very on point as well. One final thing I want to add about that last game as always, I did just remember that Barov is a card, which is maybe another reason why Nayara didn't want to go for the Tempo Oracle. And also, the other thing that we have to say is it's just another bad beat for Nayara. Like, that's another game where, even though I'm coming up with maybe things she could have done slightly differently, she had a bad hand. She was up against pretty much the best hand that you could possibly draw. Like, it was just pretty unlucky, again, for Nayara to get an unwinnable game, or close to it. But as you say, for the Quest Shaman that is probably going to be coming up next for the Americas region, in terms of their list, it's very standard. They've slotted in 1 investment opportunity, which most players have just completely omitted in favor of the more recent cards that have been looking powerful. Brilliant Macaw, 2 overdrafts, Cookie, as well, has been very, very popular. But they do still have 1 Canal Slogger in there, so they have a little bit of healing still ready to go. And the way I see it, again, is just coming down to these Shaman mirrors. I think they are so crucial, which is why yesterday for EU, in the series that they lost against China, it was so devastating for Bunny Hopper to have those connectivity issues, because I think he was moving towards a victory then. He's so proficient in this matchup overall. And even though I think Bunny Hopper and Possessi have been the two standout players for me on the Quest Shaman overall, Monsanto's had a pretty good run of it as well, right? Getting a 3-0 sweep at one point, and also just picking up those key counter cues whenever it's necessary as well.
Yeah, it really does seem like Monsanto has been quite good on the deck. And it does seem like a deck that's kind of right up his alley. Well, yeah, similar to Bunny Hopper, right? When there's these situations where you're trying to figure out like the least amount of resources that you can get away with on any specific turn. That's, you know, the kind of situation where I feel Bunny Hopper really thrives. So we'll see what the choice ends up being, how long we're going to have to wait to see Quest Shaman, but I imagine it's just going to be queued up for America's here.
Yeah, I suppose that the one risk is that you're going for the Quest Shaman into a non-ideal matchup, right? Like, it's not Shadow Priest or Aggro Druid, which are the two best decks that you can queue it into, I think, or, I mean, arguably even Paladin, the way that matchup has been looking, where Shaman's just been absolutely dominating the Paladin. It's against the Pirate Warrior, which is a good matchup, I still argue, for the Shaman, but not an overwhelmingly positive one. And if Gabby does what he does, what he has done in the last few games with this Pirate Warrior, then maybe you're just throwing out the Shaman into what could be a loss. And if they lose with the Shaman against the Pirate Warrior, instead of going for an alternate counter queue, things could go absolutely disastrously wrong, which is why Nalgadan is going with the Paladin here, what I think is a slightly worse matchup than just going for the Shaman. But of course, realizing that you need to rely on the Shaman to win you this series, and if it lost this one, it would just be absolutely disastrous. So I respect this choice from Nalgadan. He needs to win a close matchup here with the Paladin versus the Warrior, but I think with the way he's playing, he can do it.
Yeah. We shall see. We shall see. Not the best start for Nalgadan. Obviously, having a 1-drop with Knight of Anointment is great. But Lady Liadrin in the opening hand, not what you want to be doing. You really want to have some of that tempo rolling, just because that's what Pirate Warrior does best. I mean, the deck is chock full of cheap pirates. So, okay. Aldor Attendant. I guess we could start with a city tax trade here.
Yeah.
I can't see that being of too much use at the time being.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially without any of the payoff for it.
Pirate minions, pirates in general, sorry, are just too big most of the time. They need a Barov or a Libram of Justice to be able to clear them off with the city tax. A bit of a rough draw for Gabby, though, as well, it's got to be said. While he was very happy to draw the Whetstone Hatchet on turn 1 last game, here, even though it allowed him to clear off the Knight of Anointment, it's kind of a dead draw, right? Because it means he's not drawing anything off of the first quest activation. There's only one hatchet as the only weapon in the deck, which seems very counterintuitive for a pirate deck historically, but that's the seemingly the optimal build right now. And it means that he's going to be left pretty low on value, actually. The quest completion, as well as the actual tempo options, are very much dependent on getting a good pirate off the top every turn. And while Nalgadan is not punishing that quite yet, because he's got a relatively slow start himself, if he finds Aldor Truthseeker as the key card to unlock this entire game, he can go Cariel, Truthseeker, Libram, Lady Liadrin, Libram, and the game just wraps up instantly. It's that one card he needs to probably just win him the game.
Cariel Rome is going to help, right? Taking
yes.
off, getting a insane value trade on the board, picks up another spell in hand. So, not a holy spell, that's right. No, that's not a holy spell. But discounting these Librams. And that is a terrible hand.
Yikes.
For Gabby. Yeah, I mean, this is one of the downsides of playing these sort of control tools in an otherwise tempo-focused deck, is that sometimes you draw the wrong side of your deck, and this is the wrong side of the deck. So it's just sometimes the risk you take.
Gabby going in the tank, not a sight we often see, as he usually seems very confident with his plays. What is his game plan here? Because, you know, like you say, this is bad. This is not what you want to do. but it still does stuff. These are still cards that you put in your deck. So going for a control game plan can buy him the time to try and get the Rakara online. So he's trying to pass through this thing. Okay, I have a turn 7 board clear, but then obviously there's Divine Shields. Is there any way that I can try and work around that? He does in the end just let rip with the 1 Rancor. I do think that's worth it because of the how scary a double activation from Cariel is, but I wonder what his thought process is for the likely development of the next couple turns. But weirdly enough, because Nalgadan has such a poor hand himself, Gabby can't even get use from any of these removal cards. It's such a weird mid-game.
Yeah. At least can get the Noble Mount down, but it's really not that powerful in the turn. Okay, well, there's something that is going to be first quest completion. So at least thinning the deck a tiny bit to try and increase the overall. Oh yeah, that's right. He already played it. Yep.
Yeah. Man.
Well, okay. At least getting the first quest out of the way. There you go.
Oh my
There's an upside
God.
here.
Just gets a Libram of Wisdom. Like, if you take out Demon Hunter and Rogue, this is what Hearthstone is when that's all done. 5 mana and you play a 2/2 with Divine Shield. And then you're just giving +1/+1 on turn 6 into a 3/4 Pirate on turn 5. Like, this is an embarrassing outing for both of these classes.
Spread the will.
Here we go. Insta-smite.
It's going to start to pick up a little bit more for Nalgadan.
Oh, yeah.
Now that we're getting to the turn 7, can get a Libram of Hope down into the Varian and then start chugging along with the cards that he's going to be able to pick up from there. Still about the Truth Seeker, though. There's an Angling Rod.
That's something.
But I still think it's probably Libram of Hope here.
I think you're probably right. And Gabby, from what I hear, is no idiot. He will know that if Nalgadan went pass on turns 5 and 6, this is almost certainly his hand. Like, it has to be some combination of Liadrin, the Varian, Librams of Hope, Devout Pupil. I don't know, maybe not even Devout Pupil, because you probably would have played that a little bit earlier. It's almost exactly going to be some combination of these 4 cards, and that's exactly what he's met with. It's absolutely disastrous for him. He is firmly losing this game right now, but he has no choice other than just to keep throwing stuff on the board and hope to get a Pirate for Rakara next turn. If he can't play Rakara next turn, I'm going to say he's 100% out of the game. But even if he can, this is still not looking good.
Nalgadan has all the options in the world. I am struggling to find something that's better than Varian.
You don't need to.
But, yeah, don't need to. See what the draws are. Obviously, it's going to be the animated broomstick, get an Aldo Truth Seeker, and there we go.
Could have been Samurai, right?
Could have been Samurai.
But
yeah, you're right.
It makes little difference, I'm going to argue, at this point.
All right. Well, I mean, has a blow up the board button in hand, and
yes,
maybe Rakara can start to do some work, but it's going to need to be a lot.
We're talking several Mr. Smites here, a whole platoon of very politely named pirates smacking you in the face.
Yeah, Gore Howls.
Oh,
and Mr. Smites.
Or just, you know, technically, I guess you could win on fatigue if you just get 50 bulwarks in a row. That's also a win condition. Even then, that probably wouldn't work, actually. It's only got 4 charges each turn, but it's something.
I mean, you're probably going to be clearing up some things, right? It's not going to be a full board.
I guess.
No, it is.
So there we go. 50 bulwarks in a row.
Okay, let's be fair. I don't think you need 50.
Oh,
I think 15 would
let's
probably
be
be good enough. Yeah, let's be reasonable here.
Let's be adults. It's only 15 in a row.
All right, first Mr. Smite, first Bulwark.
That's not good, is it? Okay. That's a clear on the 2 big minions, right? You can just go for Shiver their Timbers and swing into the 8/8 and command into the 8/4. But he wants the card draw. Fair enough.
This is still a clear. Oh,
Hey, that's pretty good.
that's even more efficient as long as Gabby's okay with taking a little bit more damage. Which I'm certain he is. Health is probably his greatest resource at this point, considering his hand is essentially empty.
Yeah, exactly. The Shiver is too valuable.
Oh no, I was thinking you hold on to the 4/4.
Oh, sorry, and Shiver as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that one's kind of close.
Maybe he is sort of trying to play the long game.
I mean, the thing is that...
saving it for something that might hide behind a taunt, perhaps? I don't know.
Well, it's because of attacking into taunts directly, right? Like, realistically, it's a deal 5 damage spell versus a deal 4 damage spell, if you want to look at it that way. Like,
True.
the Anchorman's never getting a value trade. It's always just bumping in.
Yeah, but one has the opportunity to be recurring damage, the other one doesn't. But I suppose
it's never
because
recurring.
at the very you're expecting just a chain of taunt mages to come out. No, you're absolutely right.
Okay, a big spell. There's not many in the deck. The Ceremonial Maul, I think it's called, with a spell burst of summoning a taunt with stats equal to the cost of the spell you played. So we could just get a 1/1 taunt on this turn. I guess for Gabby is better than nothing. Like, if he's going to play the Shiver, you should play it first, but yeah, I suppose could theoretically not play it.
If the breakpoints work out, or he's not gonna play. The Shiver. Okay.
Interesting.
I was gonna say, I don't think Gabby would make that type of sequencing error if he was going to play the Shiver.
I don't think Gabby would admit that he's made that kind of sequencing error. I feel like it might have been worth it there, but I mean,
he realized that he messed up, so he just.
I think so.
Shiver.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I don't know.
Fair.
I mean, I'm sure he would come up with a very reasonable argument as to why it's worth saving it. Realistically, we both know it does not matter. This game is just lost because there's too many big taunts still here. I think, again, as we said, it needs to be beyond a miracle now for Gabby to be able to control this game until Nalgadan runs out of threats.
Oh,
okay.
Oh,
that's good. Didn't know that was a pirate, but that'll do nicely.
It has a pirate mask. Wait, no, that's an SI7 mask.
Do they have specific masks?
Oh no, it's a Defias mask.
Oh,
yeah, the
right.
Defias.
I was going to say it looks like Edwin's, right? And he's part of the Defias Brotherhood.
Yeah,
isn't he?
Yes. Yes.
Or the
but
the
not
lapdog
all
crew.
Defias are pirates,
as we well know.
Yeah.
But all
this
pirates
one
are
apparently is.
Defias. Yes.
Nope.
That's how it works.
Not even that.
Oh.
Good try though.
So he doesn't want to overextend. He knows that Barov is still there. And I guess, actually, to be fair, this is probably why Gabby was saving the Shiver, right? Is that he can target his own Barov. There we go. There's a good reason to hold on to it, as he was doing for so long.
Yeah. Alright, second forward. Nope. Ball again.
Oh, that's pretty good. He'll take a draw.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, lines up quite nicely.
Draw one of his 26 cards left in deck. I'm sure that's still perfectly accurate. Man, it is impressive that he's held on for this long. Like, I really did not see it going anywhere near this long.
Yeah, but like it's just hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
It is. Yeah.
Because Nalgidon has no shortage of threats here. I mean, maybe, right? You always think that
maybe
Libram Paladin has more than they have, especially with Leadrin.
That's true. Yeah.
Already being used, right? It's going to be pretty limited. But even just a minion with Libram's put on it is still a threat. Though maybe not the biggest of threats. So I can see it. I can see it happening.
I'm glad you can, TJ.
I guess the real problem is he's at 13 health, right? If he had like
that's one
40
of
health.
Yeah, if he had 5,000 health and 50,000 bulwarks, please, come on. He's laughing.
Yeah. 50, come on. He only needs 30,000.
Show some respect.
Yeah.
All right, keep punching him now, Kadan. Do what you do best. Smack him in the head. Never trade. No surrender. Oh. All right, well, this has to go face. Come on! He's playing it so disciplined here.
There's a lot on the line. A lot on the line here.
Oh, the horse.
America's...
My bad.
Oh, yeah, it had Divine Shield before.
Okay, that's one minion cleared off, I guess. Okay, does this now finally have to be Barov? Gabby is held off for an incredibly long time. But as I see it, you're just dead if you don't here, right?
Yeah. Trying to think of maybe something not even creative to do, but just like cargo guard and armor up. Bring him up to what, 18? Which is not even alive on board. Yeah. Gotta do it.
He does indeed. Oh, this is clever. The classic trick, buffing the health up at the end after an equality effect to keep him alive. Love it.
Yeah, stick minions on board. Cargo guard sticks, maybe a little bit of extra life to work with. Can start punching.
Who knows? So obviously ways for Nalgadan to very, very happily clear the board here with either the Libram he just picked up or Barov. Probably the Libram. I don't think you want to have a Barov on the board if you're playing Libram of Hope this turn, because the cannon could obviously shoot Barov to deal 1 damage to everything.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it actually doesn't have to be an equality or Barov clear here. Like, you could swing into one of the pirates. You've then got the Felfin, right? Is that the Murloc, which would gain rush, and be able to, with the Librams, take out either the cargo guard or the captain.
Yes. For a second, I thought that was the Metamorphin.
Oh,
one.
I think it's Furious Felfin.
When you cast, yeah, Furious Felfin. Yeah. The other one's a 1-drop.
Ooh, Crab Rider. I think at this point, Nalgadan's maybe thinking there was a... Oh, no, wait, but of course, the equality means that everything still has the health. Oh, I forgot as well. We both forgot how it works. No way.
Uh-oh.
I was advocating for some nonsense, and it turns out Nalgadan was right there along with me because he just left a bunch of pirates on board. And actually now, if Gabby can chew through this, Nalgadan's actually kind of out of threat? There's no way. There's absolutely no way.
Well, that's certainly turned on its head.
Well, he should have gone for what I was going for then. Forget that equality nonsense. The Felfin was the card. That's what he needed.
Yeah, it really was. 2 mana to spare as well at the end of that turn. It could have been fit in. Obviously, if he thought that it was going to clear the board, he holds on to it just so he has another threat from hand, has more weapon swings with the Libram of Justice equipped. So, wow, this is ambitious.
Oh, Nalgi, no way. This would be... I mean, I know Gabby's had like 7 wins of his career already, but this has to be one of the wins of his career already. This would be such a phenomenal game of Hearthstone if he could get there. Preserving the Cargo Guard to keep more health, okay. It does go down to a 2-1, obviously, so it can die to a weapon swing.
But he keeps the Stonewall Anchor Man alive, the one that was played from hand, instead of using that in. So it needed to use his life total as a resource there, just to preserve the ability to draw an additional card for the next turn. So I think that's wise, right? There's not really going to be much burst coming out from Nalgidon. He knows that the all of the Libram of Hopes now have been dealt with. The 2 natural ones plus the 2 from Lady Liadrin. And there's not that many just straight up big threats left for Nalgidon to be able to play. I think he maybe has, what, one devout pupil left? If I'm not mistaken.
I think so, but that's about it, right? Everything else is just small minions. Like, the Librams will help. He can make each of his small minions pretty big every turn, and it still demands something from Gabby to clear them off. But 4 damage from cannons every turn goes a really long way. And there it is.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe that Gabby is even in this game, let alone arguably winning here.
There is a McGurgle Prime in the deck.
Good point. Very good point.
With 5 cards left. Now going to be 4 cards left. This could tutor it out. Devout Pupil,
That's
that
good.
can buy some time. Yeah.
I mean, that can just solo the game as it currently stands. Like, that is really big.
Yeah. And Gabby is running out of life. Alright, the Forager.
So what are you buffing? Probably just the Taunt. You don't need to hide anything behind it. Yeah, I guess buff everything that has 2 health just so it survives a cannon. That's smart.
Yeah, just to have multiple attacks. Need something big. Ugh, spiked wheel.
Oh!
Okay.
And now in terms of the damage left over, you can go swing, swing, 10 damage available minimum. Can now go down, squeeze out more as the feed freezes. Please, no, not at a moment like this. Oh no.
They're both just laughing as well.
Oh, it's so tense. I think, as you said, with the McGurgle Prime, Gabby has to just end up falling down at the final hurdle here, right? Like, he just can't beat that much pressure.
No, it really doesn't seem like it.
Like, if he gets Smite and then goes for a lethal, if there's no taunts, because Murlocs don't have taunts, if he can get this killed, then maybe he can get there. Like, it's not over. It's still not over. If he gets really good outcomes off of the Jug, it can still get there.
Hey, look, it's us.
Oh, hey, 2 idiots.
That's us.
Oi, oi, oi.
Yeah, it looks like our feed to the event died, so hopefully the match is still playing and the players
No way.
weren't affected by the happenings.
I hope not. That was such a sick game of Hearthstone. I'm so sad that we don't get to to see the end of it. I mean, hopefully it will resolve itself before the end of the game. And as you said, I hope that it fixes itself naturally, because the implications either way are absolutely huge, right? If Gabby is able to win, it looks like Europe are in an almost unstoppable position. It would only be the Shaman as obviously the final hurdle for Monsanto on the Americas that could get it done. But then in terms of if, as we expect, Monsanto takes the win with the Paladin, it's big, and that keeps them in the series for sure. But then there's a few counters that you can go for against the Paladin, probably primarily, again, in the form of the Quest Shaman.
Yep. We'll try and get word on what's happening. So we've learned over the past couple of days that my still photo here is interactive.
Yes.
I am hoping that something on your still photo here is going to be interactive as well.
Yeah, my beard twitches when I get
他
excited.
总能想到能打不死的吧？
Hey,
We're back.
here we go. Did we miss anything? Oh yeah, we did. Some Murlocs have changed. Okay. Oh yeah, we're actually just on the Billy feed.
The
Good,
Billy
good
thing,
job,
yeah.
creative.
Oh no, we can't see how many cards are left. Okay, there's McGurgle Prime. So
Alright, yeah.
Gabby's essentially out of time here.
Yeah. Can't be played, obviously. I think that's 3 mana crystals left, or is that... Oh, 5. Okay, it was 7 and now 5 for Nalgadan. So next turn, big Murloc coming down to close it out. We are looking for Mr. Smite, Bulwark, maybe Gorehowl, but I think his health is just too low. Not that. Not that. And not that, right? This doesn't even draw him a card. He can't hero power to get out of range. He can draw one more, off the 1/1.
Yeah, but would need to be something that kills this or gains armor. It doesn't find it, and despite an error there from Nalgadan, still was able to just get far enough ahead to where it did not end up mattering. And was still able to take that win after being just that far ahead. So nicely done by Nalgadan. Excluding that one turn, nicely done. And now we got ourselves a tied series.
不是石林开已经快成
We do.
为国际冠军
Somewhat
杯的一个
embarrassed
梗了。
smile there from Nalgadan. I think, you know, it was overall a pretty good game from him. It was just obviously that one blunder, which I cannot begrudge him for, because I was again advocating for the exact same mistake, despite just talking about the benefits of it. It's been a long, long time since the days of, like, that interaction hasn't been relevant since combo Murloc Paladin, right? Where you had the Murloc War Leaders back when they gave plus health as well as plus attack, and you'd go for like equality, and your Murlocs would survive when you went for the Pyromancer equality board clear. Like it's been like 3-4 years, maybe even longer. I can't remember where that deck was a thing since that interaction has really been a thing in Hearthstone. But Nalgadan did end up falling prey to it, and while Nalgadan takes the win, I'm happy for him. Gabby was just on another level in that game. I think that was so well played to transition to that control game plan with his Pirate Warrior. There are a few players who could have survived as long as he did, but in the end, it was still just not good enough.
Yeah, super well thought out game plan there from Gabby, but sometimes you just can't back it up with the draws as well. Just wasn't able to get that hyper tempo start that he needed to keep the board in check from Nalgadan's side. So we'll see what's going to come next. But I do imagine, well, I guess you could find better matchups with the Paladin, but I feel like you can't wait too long for the Quest Shaman to come out. Obviously, Quest Shaman versus the Libra Paladin, we've seen it multiple times. Does feel like a great matchup. But Libra Paladin also has some glaring weaknesses against other decks.
True.
And so if you can find like maybe like an easier target for it and save the Quest Shaman for whatever is going to come out beyond that, maybe you could find an edge. But maybe you just keep it simple and just play it now. Keep it
It's a tough
simple,
one.
stupid.
Yeah. I think it wouldn't be absurd to go for aggro druid. Have you ever played that yet? No, they've just done the pirate warrior with Gabby. So yeah, you could go druid because I think that's an okay matchup against the paladin. Not fantastic. Again, like my problem is that we've seen Shaman do well versus paladin so far this tournament. I don't know if that's necessarily representative of the matchup overall, because while it's good, it's not what Shaman wants to face. It wants to face these aggro decks and just run them over with its overwhelming board control in the mid game. It can very much fall prey to a turn 6 or 7 Libram of Hope from the Paladin if that's available. And do you really want to put the life of your best deck in the format on your opponent not being able to do that? It feels a little flimsy. And so I would be very unsurprised to see Baby Bear queue it up on the Druid first, and then we see Bunny Hopper, if she's unable to sweep it from there, closing things out with the Shaman, I think would be a reasonable approach.
Okay. I'm down for that plan.
Love it.
And obviously sometimes we have these little bit of extended breaks in between games because they are multiplayer games. Also, maybe we're trying to get our feedback. Not our feedback, like one
God
word.
knows we don't want that.
Our feed, comma, back. No, that doesn't work either. Just feed space back. There we go.
Yes.
Found it. Just took me a second. But yeah, we do need to get the other player up and ready to go. And same goes for like the other team, right? So that's why sometimes we have like these delays in between where Derek and I can just kind of talk about whatever we want to.
Too late, TJ. We'll have to catch up later, you big dweeb. It's Hearthstone time.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about was Hearthstone. So this is great. Works out perfectly.
Joke's on me.
Yeah. Joke's on you. All right. This is known information. It is last year's standing, so now get on once again. Going to be playing that Liver Paladin deck. And on the side of Europe, okay, it's going to be the Shaman.
Ooh. Love it. Confidence from Bunny Hopper. Again, like I said, a good matchup, but not necessarily an overwhelming favorite. However, Bunny's saying, step aside. It's time for the master to give it a go on this Shaman, and I've just been loving him, loving watching him play, loving seeing the adaptive understanding that he shows on the deck. It's never one obvious game plan he goes for. It's always dependent on how his opponent is playing, reacting to their speed, and therefore adapting his game plan on the fly. Like I say, I think the main thing you're looking for in this matchup is just as quick as you humanly can completing the quest. That seems to be much more important than overly aggressive board control. But if your opponent's doing absolutely nothing until like turn 6 or 7, maybe just going with a bunch of Serpent Shrine Portals and Feral Spirits, if the game allows it, is the way to go to just aggro them out.
All right, well, we'll get into it. Nagidon's got Aldor Attendant plus Hand of a Doll, decent opening hand. Bunny Hopper, is Feral Spirits a keep in the matchup? I feel like Feral Spirits is always one of those cards that's just like always reasonable to keep, but never great.
Yeah, I think on the play here, it's fine. It's just a card that's good to play at the start. And honestly, with the pickup of Diligent Note Taker, it feels fantastic. If your opponent doesn't play a 1-drop, you are always playing the Note Taker on 2 here, I think, to curve into the Wolves. If they do have a 1-drop, then things get a little bit more complicated, because then you're gambling on whether or not they have Hand of Adal to be able to stick this Diligent Note Taker. If they don't have it, again, fantastic. You get 2 copies of the Wolves. If they are able to kill it off with the Hand of Adal, then you're very, very sad. And so with the top deck of the Wand Maker instead, it's more reasonable for Bunny Hopper to just go with that.
Okay, well, this early Early game plan working out quite well for Nalgidon.
It's working out incredibly well. This is like the absolute nuts for Nalgadan being able to go Banana Man into the Truth Seeker as well, into the Libram, into Varian. Like,
well, okay, the Variant's still going to be 1 mana away. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
Yeah. But the curve's all there. Like, he can do that. I wouldn't be upset at just seeing Note Taker plus Bolt on this turn. It does just curve pretty nicely into the Feral Spirits next turn.
Still gets hold on to a Bolt. Lacking in sort of resource generation from Bunny's Hopper's side right now, but obviously that can be made up for. The biggest thing is just to not lose control of the board, and boom, there you go. Guidance picked up off the top. Saved!
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's a bit of a grimace there from Bunny Hopper, because had he known that Guidance was going to be the next card in his deck, he obviously would not have gone Note Taker plus Bolt. You would have saved it to go with the Note Taker. But like you say, the value's there. It's still a good card to get, even if you're kicking yourself somewhat for not getting yourself even more value. And Curve kind of just plays itself right now. A couple of doggies, and then a Guidance as well. I suppose being guided by a dog. I think that is. It's like another Feral Spirit in the art for that card.
Yep.
Just all about
Feral
ghost
Spirits
dogs.
do. There are many a quest in the World of Warcraft, which a little bit of knowledge bomb here for you, Derek. That's what Hearthstone was based off of. Was the Warcraft universe. Wasn't sure if you knew that.
It's actually a common misconception. It's the other way around. It's the Hearthstone MMO. It's World of Warcraft. That's why you can tell, because they have a Hearthstone in World of Warcraft. Fun fact.
Yeah, it's one of those classic questions. Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah. One of those classic conundrums in which it's clearly documented which one came first several years earlier.
I don't believe you.
Checkmate.
But the big question is a Hearthstone round or flat?
I mean, a Hearthstone or the game Hearthstone?
Either or.
Either or. I'm going to say the game flat. Look at that board. Flat as they come.
All right. You got me. All right.
Just like the
we played. Ooh, those are some pretty good. I was trying to skirt around it. It was just like, just get him.
Okay, good cards to get there. Obviously, leading up to a nice early charged call, potentially for Bunny Hopper. It's, again, the kind of hand that doesn't have any more generation, so he needs to be afraid of running out of overload spells before he completes the quest. Like, he's got 2 in hand right now, which doesn't get him anywhere close, as it currently stands, to completing the quest. But it can buy him that time very happily, and who knows, it could even be a tempo charged call. As I was talking about, you have to be able to adapt your game plan on the fly, and just tempo charged call could be that adaptation he needs.
Yep. I mean, has ways to stay ahead in tempo, at least for the time being, so maybe he can take it a little bit slower, but obviously not too slow. Is this worth it evolving?
Like, it's really good, isn't it? But devolving is always really good. If you're facing down an 8/8 taunt off Libram of Hope next turn, you're going to be really sad that you used it. And so, what about Bolt Perpetual plus the overdraft as well? Or okay, just this works too. Like, the benefit of the bolt as well is that you get a 3/3 at the end of it, and I know that it's like pretty big overkill in terms of the resources that you're using, but it does progress the quest, unlock your crystals, and just get you a lot of tempo on the board.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh. I think that's Wandmaker still, right? Which is
yeah,
not bad.
Wait, no. It's Wandmaker.
Oh,
Cornelius! Look at that fat hammer.
Oh, Big Daddy Rome coming in to save Bunny Hopper. That is what you like to see. Oh
What?
no, apparently not.
Isn't this just as many cards?
I mean, you could get more cards, right? You could unlock the crystal and then go for Perpetual Flame afterwards. And there's obviously the potential top deck at any point along the way of Lightning Bloom.
Look, Cornelius just keeps drawing cards too.
Yes, it does.
I don't know. I'm not going to question him. He's Bunny Hopper, after all. Just the hop man, hopping around, picking up field mice, bopping them on the head.
Oh, what is that? I remember that. My mum read me that book, but I can't remember which one it was.
It was called Bunny Hopper Hearthstone Superstar.
That's the one. I loved that
classic nursery rhyme.
Yeah. Little Bunny Foo-Foo, is that it?
Yes. That was the UK adaptation.
Ickle Bunny Foo-Foo, hopping on a Tuesday. All right, the clear is there for Bunny Hopper on the Auctioneer. The last thing that Bunny Foo-Foo wanted to see, because he could have drawn most of the rest of his deck. And now Nalgadan, again, he's in that position where even though he was delayed from playing the Libram of Hope on this turn, he's still leading into it very soon, which means Bunny Hopper needs to start finding those blooms realistically. He wants... I mean, it was a bit ambitious to expect that he could get Brucan on this turn, but he needs Brucan on the next turn if he's going to be able to keep up here, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Still a ton of resources at his disposal, though. This will repeat the multicaster. Draw some more.
Ooh la la, that is very much a Brucan on the following turn.
Yep. And then a ton of follow-up for Brucan as well.
Right, it's probably Charge Call on the same turn, actually. In fact, I think it just is.
Yeah.
Which means in response, Nalgadan's incredibly powerful late game, or mid game as it was looking to be, all of a sudden feels pretty lackluster. Like an 8-mana 7/7 with Divine Shield, Taunt, and Rush that draws you 3 cards. Pathetic.
Gonna save it though.
Yeah, nice easy play for Bunny Hopper. There's one thing you're doing on this turn, and one thing only.
This is a pretty clean clear as well. This will be
clean.
Brucan, and then Overdraft, which will deal 5 because of the 4 loaded mana crystals, plus the spell damage on board. And
perfect.
Gets the charge call down. Yeah, it's just absolutely perfect. Okay. These are the mediocre options for everything, right? No
There you go.
Deathwing, which is the biggest, no Scrapyard Colossus, which is the stickiest, and no Little Bunny Foo, which is the deadliest.
Picks up 3 minions at once and bops them all on their head.
Yeah.
And this is the portion of the game where Paladin simply cannot keep up. Everything it does is so much less efficient. Like, if we were looking at the days where Libram Paladin still had old Penflinger that could go face, then I could see this matchup actually being quite salvageable for the Paladin at this point, because you just go clear, clear, stall, stall, clear, 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 while sending like 4 or 5 damage face each turn, or maybe 3 or 4, which can theoretically get there over the long run if you've dealt some damage in the mid-game. But with this modern build of Paladin, which just has no reach whatsoever, it's entirely reliant on board, you can't win. It's just too slow by comparison.
Yeah. It's going to be able to buy some time, I guess. I mean, even if you did have access to the old Penflinger, right? It's like, because of all the weird, wacky, random generation that Shaman has.
Yes.
A tidal wave, or a tidal surge, or a stiff breeze could heal you out of range.
Yeah,
So-
I'm not saying it's likely to get there. I'm saying it would give Nalgadan a chance, maybe. Whereas here,
I see. You
I'm not seeing
backpedaling.
it.
Okay. To each their own, right?
What I'm saying is, I'm a big dumb baby who says stupid Hearthstone stuff.
Oh, little Derwick.
钥匙和寄装宝我全都有。
This is a
Like,
lot
fling
of
a
spell
mist to
damage.
Elvis.
Thank you very much.
倒映在月亮起。
Ooh. Ooh. Those are good 3-drops. Nice order, by the way, buddy.
Maybe he was the field mice after all.
And even just the overdraft alone, like, if you don't clear off the spell damage, even if you're overloaded for 0, it's still 10 damage, or like 8 damage that you're dealing next turn to face. And with the overload, it's very, very easily lethal. So now Nalgadan has to clear up almost all of this just to be able to survive once again.
Ay, ay, ay. How much damage would, like, a Serpentine Portal be next turn? Guild Trader Serpentine Portal. If all the spell damage stuck, which it's not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, not 18 damage. Whoa!
It's pretty good.
Pretty good. Okay.
So with plus
Wait,
3
this
spell
is-
damage, plus the overload, which for 2, so that would bring you up to 5, 7, 10
And he-
damage?
But he gets
no.
he can play Diligent
11?
Note Taker. It copies itself. He has 3 overdrafts potentially.
But he doesn't have mana because he needs to play the other Guild Trader. Oh no, wait, but then they unlock the crystals? Oh, this is very confusing. Oh, you copy the Note Taker to get like triple overdraft? This is so weird.
So that would unlock the crystals. That would be 5, and then you get
Yep.
2 overdrafts. You could play the Guild Trader.
Yeah. I think that was legal,
That's-
right?
That would be plus 3. No, it'd be 6. It'd be 5 plus 6.
Really?
It was 11. It was 11.
Wow.
because you couldn't play any other overload cards in between.
But they cast
right? 'Cause you would need
twice.
the full...
Each of them cast twice. That was mega lethal, right? Sure.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, that was yeah. Holy moly, that was mega lethal.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't see it mattering here. I think always here Bunny Hopper can just get there. But okay, that is a board clear plus 7 heal on this turn for Nalgadan. I think Bunny Hopper is just realizing that he had it there, but again, it got very confusing with board space as well, because like in terms of the overload, like you couldn't have played Feral Spirits there, but I don't think you actually needed to play Feral Spirits, right? It would have just got there with the spell damage alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this hand's looking a little bit more lackluster for Bunny now. So I guess we trade to find something better.
Trade
one again.
Okay, here we go.
There we go. Yeah.
Now we're cooking.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Oh, that is good. And it can end with an overdraft at the end of all this.
Oh. That's like 12 damage, right? Or it's more, it's like 16 damage or something here. That's absurd. It's almost lethal. Wait, it is just lethal.
With the mold...
Oh,
yeah,
no,
with the
not.
mold blast, it is.
Oh, it
yeah,
is.
it is.
Let's go.
With the mold blast. Oh my, that is insane.
That is so sick.
Ridiculous.
Okay, well done, Bunny. Any other misses of spell damage are, of course, instantly forgiven. Overall, incredibly well played by Bunny. I think he knew exactly when to go for the tempo options, the value options, and it all came down really to that tempo charge call, right? 6 mana, he knew exactly what he was looking for. Like, even when presented with the Cornelius Rome, which we were just instantly advocating for, he still went down a different route. And to be fair, if it hadn't been exactly that hand from Nalgadan with the Samuro, it could have survived, and Bunny Hopper could have drawn like way more cards on the following turn.
Yeah. Yeah, that was quite insane. And once you let Quest Shaman get to that point, right, unless they're completely out of resources, which with multicaster nowadays really just doesn't happen,
Yeah.
then you're going to be in some trouble.
Very true.
I know.
And so now, as the Shaman takes the win for Bunny, it means the EU are up 2-1. 2 wins left needed in a row for the Americas, right? On the Shaman, it needs to be both wins in a row. Well, sorry, I say the Shaman. I'm getting ahead of myself. They just need to win with one class, but you'd have to imagine the only class that they could reasonably be thinking here for Monsanto is that Quest Shaman.
Yeah. Yep. It's the only thing that counters Quest Shaman is Quest Shaman itself. That's just what seems to be the case over the past few days, and I imagine we'll be seeing it. And it's kind of a battle of 2 of the players that have shown the most promise with Quest Shaman, I have to say, over the course of the matches that we've watched during the round robin phase of the event. So I'm interested. I'm incredibly interested.
Incredibly?
Indubitably. I'm indubitably interested. I'm infinitely interested. I'm titillated.
Okay, let's end it there.
Okay.
We've already said plenty enough, I think, to get us fired forever on this broadcast.
There it is.
Yeah, the only thing that you could reasonably go for. Again, slight differences in the list. Ones that I would actually argue favor the Americas. Like, if we look at the difference in builds, there's a guidance, an investment opportunity and a canal slogger for the Americas. And there's Cookie and a Macaw for EU as the real big differences between the lists. Which I think, again, just slightly favor America's. Like, literally just having investment opportunity as one less dead card that you can draw. Like, the difference between top decking Cookie and investment opportunity is pretty big, to be honest. And one that I think could allow America's ever so slightly to play a bit more liberally and just rely again on their top decks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There it is, the hat. Oh, yeah, there it is. There.
Sure.
There. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, there it is. The brain.
Big and bulging.
Oh, yeah. It's popping out of his skull.
I mean, when you deal like 17 damage with a 1-mana card, your brain's got to be pretty juicy. That doesn't happen to mortal men.
Nope.
Ooh. Okay, nice spicy cards right out the gate for both players. I'm obviously keeping the Wand Maker for both players, and I'm probably keeping the Bloom as well for Bunny. And then the Serpent Shrine for Monsanto. Like, that's just an insta-full keep.
We've seen players be a little bit more reluctant for the Bloom. We saw who was it? Like Possessi, I think, threw it away in the mirror. Just to try and get like more value cards, right? Because players have been playing the mirror a little bit slower. It's not about getting those huge Bloom turns early on in the game to try and snowball. I'm really curious to see what Bunny Hopper decides to keep here.
Yeah.
Okay, does keep the Bloom.
I personally think Bloom is just too good. Like, again, I know it's low value. I know you want to be hitting Guidance, Fireheart in the mid-game, just ways to keep this value nice and high. But the tempo it affords you is so strong. And you, again, have to rely on the cards in your deck to fill you up on value. And especially with now double Wand Maker, Bunny should be perfectly happy to just keep chugging along with the cards he generates.
Yeah, and I guess there's also a difference of keeping it in a hand that already has value with Wand Maker as opposed to like keeping it by itself, right? I think that's the times where we see it thrown away in the Mulligan is when you would just be otherwise keeping that that one singular card. So goes for Guidance from Wand Maker. Holy moly!
It's just Guidance into Guidance. Both players getting the best possible 1-drop.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe for Bunny Hopper you could argue that actually Primordial Studies was better there because it's arcane and therefore synergizes with his multicaster. But you got Guidance off of Wand Maker. You're never ever sad to see it. Interesting. Well, I'm just wondering if you're at all interested in killing the Cauldron on this turn, because there's obviously a couple ways that you can go about it with the Overdraft, the Bolts, and the Lightning Bloom. But to be honest, I think it's just not that much of a concern, right? Let them have a random spell. On average, it's not really going to be backbreaking.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Man, these are such strong starts for both players.
It seems like Bunny Hopper has that resource advantage because of the multicaster, right? But I feel like... Oh!
That's insane! The Arcane Luminary in this deck, trust me, is bananas. If you can get that with Instructor Fireheart in particular, you will break your processor on your computer. You'll be doing so much stuff. But here for Monsanto, he'll have to settle with a few mana's worth of discount. But on the other side, for Bunny Hopper, the Stargazer is really not bad either for an extra spell.
Yeah. I feel like he already has enough, though.
Sure. I mean, more is better. I'm still taking it.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna pass on it.
Actually, you know what? I'm good. I'm full.
Yeah, yeah. No, oh, thank you.
Appreciate the offer. Maybe next time.
Yeah, you can put it back in the deck. I'll have it later.
Can I get a doggy bag? Oh my goodness, it's so much value for Bunny Hopper. I can't even believe this. Like, the Bloom is honestly the only thing that, or is the card that's tying this hand together, right? Because it's too much right now. You can't spend all of this in the next few turns. But because he has that Bloom, like, the world is his oyster. He can go Bloom, Bolt, complete quest, Bolt again, I don't know, maybe you go for a Primordial Studies at some point along the way to give yourself an Overdraft with a Zapper if you get that, as it would then deal 2 damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this. I like this. Misses on the Zapper, but that's not the end of the world. Says, okay, no more card draw. Please, God, I'll just take a Phoenix.
Yeah.
Oh, no, but he's going with the Multicaster. No way. Really? And then
Coin Phoenix?
Bolt. You have to clear this
Oh
off,
no,
right?
you have to clear this off. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like,
Okay, you don't.
he picked up Perpetual Flame, so there's a world where he just like makes Monsanto play all the cards that didn't start in his hand and say, all right, I'm just gonna flame it next turn. You know?
That's true. I think both were reasonable, but because Bunny Hopper's list is quite low on healing, he doesn't run Canal Sloggers. I like that he's just killing this off where he can. Like, the Perpetual Flame will still be good. He will still find a fantastic use for that in this mid-game, I think, very clearly. Oh, again, Guidance!
Oh,
This
my
is
goodness.
insane! And for Monsanto, who even with the pickup of this Guidance is still quite clearly losing in terms of value, it's arguable again that he should be looking at that tempo charged call. Maybe not on this turn, because again, you do want to manipulate it to either 6 or 8 mana, as we saw from Bunny Hopper. 6 gives you card draw, 8 gives you tempo. But with the pickup of a second one as well, now it starts looking a lot juicier.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
You got so many options that you have to find level 1, right? Level 1 is Perpetual Flame.
Is it?
I think that's like a baseline fine play, and then you spend the rest of your turn looking for something better, which there probably is.
Do you just start with investment opportunity though? Because I don't know where this Phoenix is headed, right? Is it a card that's just going to be saved until Bunny Hopper gets to the point where he's close to Brucon to try and like have the Phoenix emerge the first turn that Brucon is going to be active?
Right.
No, you're just going to use it here. All right, playing it slow again. No Perpetual Flame. Just going to go for minion pressure.
This is the turn for now for Monsanto, right? Bloom, and double charge call. Even with a Feral Spirits as well, actually, right? You can just go Bloom, Feral, charge call. He goes with the 6-drop first. Again, as I was saying, he's trying to find that card draw. Auctioneer or Cornelius, and maybe Mage Scribe as well to get some generation. He would rather have that than I think a 9 cost he could have had if he'd gone second Bloom plus Feral Spirits first. But he would rather hit that extra value. He misses, which means he has to go again. And again, none of the card draw or value generation 6-drops. It's just a disaster.
Yeah. Just going to go for highest power. I mean, Smug Senior is still some value generation, right?
not bad,
Get another
yeah.
5/7.
Technically, yes. I think spells is what he wants there.
No, not even technically. Literally, you get another 5/7.
Okay, it is value generation.
This is not a debate.
But what I should have been more specific. I was talking about spells that he wanted. He wanted ways to get extra spells into his hand, and this does not afford him that.
Yeah, fair.
Glad
Well
we decided.
pointed.
So it's an annoying perpetual flame, isn't it? Even with these overdrafts that you can go for first, that you can go bump, perpetual. Oh, sorry, bump, overdraft, perpetual, overdraft. But still, with the 8 health you have sitting there, it's unlikely to be able to clear off everything. Okay.
Another guidance. Feel like this is the millionth guidance we've seen so far in this game.
I'm guided, okay, Spirit Wolves. Get over it. Okay, I like it.
Take it pretty slow, yeah. We're starting to get quite close to Brucon here. Just 2 overload spells needed. Actually, currently doesn't have them. Only has the Perpetual Flame, but obviously has ways to get them, right? Multicaster, Instructor Fireheart. Instructor Fireheart probably at this stage, though, going to be saved for post-Brucon just because of how much sheer value you can get from it, but Multicaster could find it pretty easily. You could even just trade the Overdraft, though. That card has a ton of value outside of the trade mechanic unless you're desperate.
Yeah, I mean, for Bunny Hopper, everything is good. Everything that he can do leads to him winning the game. He just needs to not fall behind in terms of dying to a big surprise Brucan plus charged call. But because Monsanto has just played 2 charged calls, neither of which drew him any cards, it's incredibly unlikely that that happens to Bunny Hopper, that he is met with a big charged call in the near future, which means he doesn't have to be overly speedy. He can just take his time about it and lead up to the greediest situation possible, which works out great for him.
Bunny Hopper also just a revolve away from greatness. Of all the powerful things you could do when playing Quest Shaman, Tiny Toys and Revolve is by far in the top 20.
Mm-hmm.
What is this?
The Macaw is a multicaster, I think, right? It's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, you could still potentially just play multicaster into Landslide anyway, because that's perfect mana utilization, and then saves you the cheaper effect for later turns. But then again, having the 1 mana spare on this turn is maybe good just to go, I don't know, Bolt, Novice Zapper. There you go, that'll do as well. Either of those are fantastic. More
Where
guidance.
are all these guidances coming from?
Do you reckon if you get enough, we could get Nalgidan on screen from all the Gidans to do a Nalgi dance?
Yeah, I reckon.
If you get 10 in a game, that's what happens.
It's a secret achievement.
Oh my god. We're close.
That's number 6.
Alright, is that the 3-3 now? There we go. Okay, Monsanto completing quest stage 2. He has everything he needs in hand to get Brucan in hand right now, if he wants to. But obviously he wants to think about getting and playing Brucan on the following turn, which means probably holding on to this bloom if possible.
He could play it now.
Could he?
Yeah. He was overloaded for 2, right? Going into this turn.
No.
So if he... Oh, right. Wait, what?
He's played multicaster and...
Oh, he played the multicaster this turn. Okay, yeah. I can't see the overloaded mana crystals.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'd rather that be an investment opportunity.
Me too.
Cookie just always seems like, meh, I guess I'll play Cookie. That's the feeling that I get whenever I play it.
I mean, have you never played it on turn 3 against aggro? Like, it just wins you the matchup on its own. It's illegal.
Yeah, but it's, even though I know that it's good, it still feels underwhelming.
Interesting perspective.
Like, look at it.
Look at his big dumb face.
Yeah. Look at this stupid pot.
What is he even cooking? Slop?
Pea soup.
Like a nerd.
Yeah. These nerds over here cooking pea soup.
All right, what do we got? 2 quest procs left needed to go now or is it just 1 left actually for Monsanto? He finished the turn with Zapper and Bolt, right? So it could be Bloom. I know that wastes a mana crystal, and then, or I guess, yeah, Hero Power Bloom. Double Feral Spirits after the Brew Can.
Okay.
Or double Totemic Reflections is actually pretty good. It gets you a 2/4 and 2 4/6s.
Oh yeah, with the totem.
Yeah, exactly.
Sticking on the board, or with the totem up being used. Yeah, I think that's probably better.
Agreed. I mean, unless he doesn't want to play Brucan on this turn, like it could be a Hex turn instead. Okay, interesting.
He's gonna go for the taunts, I think, just to potentially protect his life total, right? Not pick the 7 from Brucan.
Oi, oi, oi.
Oh!
He's going to take
So
an awful lot more than 7 this turn, though.
Double Zapper? Wait.
I mean, you can just go for Guild Trader.
I've seen enough Hearthstone, enough Quest Shaman to know that this is probably lethal.
I guess a Guild Trader, the mana doesn't quite work out because you wouldn't be able to play the Overdraft after Guild Trader plus Lightning Storm. But this way, yeah, double Lightning Storm, 2 spell damage. It's close to lethal. It's not quite there, I don't think, but it does a huge chunk.
Yeah, it's not there. It's going to be +2 spell damage on the second one.
Oh!
So it's 10 +2, and then the 7 attack to face. And then, I guess you could play Cookie.
You can just play Overdraft for another 4 damage. Like, I know you're supposed to save it and then go for lethal next turn, but it's a lot right now already.
What was that face from Bunny Hopper?
He had to play Cookie. That's the face of a man who just
Yeah,
played
I
Cookie.
was like, man, I guess I'll play Cookie.
This turn sucked. But either way, Bunny Hopper, there we go. Getting it done. The king of the Quest Shaman, supplanting himself firmly on the throne. And leading EU to the first victory in our 2 best of 5s. A monumental effort after his unfortunate loss to a DC yesterday. Bunny Hopper getting it done and looking incredibly confident while doing it.
Yep. And Monsanto's got to go back to his forest. Down deep into the field mice hole. That's a pretty big win